Hey there, I'm Scott Winfield, and welcome to Victorian Opera's web series Artists in Isolation. On this episode, we're delighted to be joined by Victorian Opera's artistic director, composer-conductor, Richard Mills. Richard, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now tell us, whereabouts are you in your gorgeous converted warehouse? I'm
in the depths of Brunswick, in my enclosed garden, my hortus conclusus, yes, as I call it, in the courtyard.
Your garden brings so much joy to you, as indeed does your dog Buddy. Tell us about what they both bring to your life.
Well, Buddy was a rescue dog, and he had a pretty rough start. He was abandoned, thrown off a truck by the side of the road, and
how awful.
He's a very trusting little dog. I mean, I think he's over it now, but he had severe anxiety about being left by himself. But he's pretty good now. Mind you, he's never by himself really, either Zev or I are with him. And he comes to all the rehearsals, and he goes to Wentworth if Zev's working on Wentworth.
Oh, really? Oh, he's a very cultured dog.
He goes everywhere. He's in the van if he's on TV. Set, or if he's in the rehearsal room with us, or he's there at coachings. He's very, very good. He's very well behaved. He has one vice, which is possums. He doesn't like possums, and woe betide a possum who crosses his path.
What is it about possums particularly?
I don't know. I quite like possums. There's one lives in here, in one of these ferns, little one, and comes and goes. But it doesn't really eat anything. But he doesn't like them. And he doesn't like a certain kind of cat either, a cat that's provocative. Cats that mind their own business, he doesn't mind. But the cats that are provocative, a provocative cat is not appreciated by Buddy, no. So apart from that, he doesn't have any vices.
You've composed music for him. What did you try and capture about Buddy's spirit in the works that you composed about him?
Buddy's very straightforward. What you see is what you get. He's very he's not so innocent. He's quite manipulative in some ways, particularly anything to do with walking, or ossobuco.
Which is understandable, particularly the ossobuco.
Yeah, he loves ossobuco, and they're very good for his teeth. You've never seen anything like the concentration of Buddy on an ossobuco bone. He's total concentration. An object lesson for us all.
And tell us about your garden, Richard. I know that's a great source of pride for you as well. You've got a number of award-winning orchids.
Yeah, my garden. Well, it's a funny sort of garden. It's I call it an against all odds garden because industrial Brunswick is not really the place where you'd expect to find a garden. And it took me some years to work out how to do it. But it's about analysing where your patterns of light lie and where your microclimates are.
Yes.
And so I've got the back lane, which has now got snow peas and various daisies and a whole lot of ranunculus coming on. The back glass house where the slipper orchids and phalaenopsis grow. And this courtyard, which is half sheltered from the elements, and where I grow all this cool-growing orchids and cymbidiums, Indian dendrobiums, and all of oncidium multigeneric kind of orchids. And they love it here. They grow really, really well, as do camellias and azaleas and rhododendrons and other things.
How much time do you spend in the garden, say each day or each week?
I do the jobs as they need doing. I mean, this time of the year is not much because, well, there's repotting to be done, and that will have to start more or less in spring, but I'm starting a bit now. There's repotting, always repotting, and feeding. Well, I feed all the year round with worm juice that I get from a friend's worm farm, or I make from my own little worm farm here. That's the best fertiliser. It's fantastic. You've got to use a very light concentration. It should be the colour of weak tea, and I use it every watering. I use it.
Worm juice.
Yeah, worm tea.
Oh, there you go.
It's the very, very best fertiliser. It's wonderful. It's gentle, and it builds up the strength of the plants as well. And of course, there's always spraying. You're on constant vigilance against pests. Because gardening has gone on for a long time in Melbourne, and we have many, many pests. mealybug, aphids, Wadeville scale, hard scale. You've always got to be on the lookout for those. You've got to keep them under control. You'll never eliminate them, but sometimes, if they get away from you, you're in real trouble.
What window of time?
Oh, it depends. Wadeville scale is one of the worst sorts of scale, and it can creep up on a plant, in a matter of 2 or 3 days and almost destroy the plant. It's really, really nasty. I haven't got any examples of it now because I haven't got anything, God. But boy, oh boy, you've got to watch them. You've got to watch it all the time. Nature is in tumult, as we know, now more than ever, I suppose. But you've got to watch. One of the things a good gardener does is watch his plants. And if you watch your plants will tell you what they need, mostly.
Completely. I completely agree with that. And I think it's a wonderful lesson for life and a wonderful lesson in self-care as well.
Yeah.
We learn to watch and we learn to listen to our own needs.
Well, yes. Some more than others.
Yes. Millsy, tell us about your kitchen because, in amongst your many, many, many talents, you're a wonderful cook.
It's not elaborate cooking. I cook basically Italian food, simple pasta, roasts, steak, salads, very important. But that's it. It's pasta, protein, fish, very important. We would eat fish minimum 3 nights a week, maybe 4.
Wise.
Fish is very good for you. As
Indeed.
you get older, too much red meat, not good. Plenty of fish and plenty of vegetables. And no wine during the week.
These are all very sensible rules. Tell me about the pastas that you like to cook because I kind of feel like there's a sort of there's so much of the heart of Italy and Italian culture and opera culture that lives inside you. I feel like pasta is a dish that you hold very close to you.
Oh, I do. I love pasta. It's not great for you.
But it's so delicious.
So many carbs. Yeah. Nothing quite holds the sauce. I mean, and look, the simpler it is, the better. I love aglio olio, garlic and oil. And it's just simple. You saute the garlic just very carefully, not too much. A little bit of anchovy, a little bit of chili, a few herbs, and parsley, some fresh, some sauteed with the garlic. Cook your pasta, throw it over, and with a very good formaggio, grana padana or pecorino or something like that. And very nice. Salt and pepper. Don't need so much salt with the anchovies. You need plenty of pepper. And of course, a really good sugo di pomodoro, a very good tomato sauce. That takes time. You've got to be patient. The tomatoes are very good in Brunswick, where there's a great Italian fruiter here, Pat Lamanna. He's up on Sydney Road, and he has what they call them, cuore di bue, bull's hearts. Tomatoes, huge, with very, very fine flavour. And they let them, I think, ripen on the vine. And they're wonderful for making a proper tomato sauce, passata.
You once brought in an amazing tray of pasta into Victorian opera. I think it definitely had anchovy and I think possibly a mince as well, or a pancetta and a crumb. Do you remember what that might have been? Some veal, I think?
No, it was pasta Alforno. That was, I mean, there's 2 ways of eating pasta. Well, there's 3 ways if you count cold pasta salad, which is lovely for the summer. Not so great for now. And then there's the pasta that you boil, strain, and put the sauce on, no matter what sort of sauce it is. Some are mince-based, as you say, some are veal-based, some are marinara, and there's 2 basic sorts of marinara. There's the southern sort of marinara, which has the tomatoes, and the more northern kind of marinara, which doesn't have so much tomatoes in it. I love both, but I prefer in some ways the marinara without too much tomato because you get the flavour of the fish. The secret to a good marinara sauce is a very good fish stock, either a fish fume or a very, very good crab or fish stock. That's very important. In fact, good stock is the basis of all good pasta sauce making. But the pasta you refer to, the historical pasta, if we could put it that way, was a pasta Alforno, pasta made in the oven. And the trick of the pasta Alforno is not only the ingredients, but the way you assemble it before you put it in the oven and bake it.
So do you boil it at all before you bake it?
Oh, yes. You can put a little bit of cheese on at the very end, but basically it's the mix of the flavours through the pasta in the oven that make it special. And you can dress it a little bit with breadcrumbs, things like that, which are very nice, which give it a nice crusty patina. You know.
How delicious, Richard! You're speaking straight to my heart.
Well, I love Italy, as you know. Italy is just a wonderful blessing in every way. Italian culture, I adore it. I feel very, very at home there. I mean, it's mad and frustrating in many ways, but this legacy to the world is unique and wonderful.
How much time have you spent in Italy?
Italy is very important to me. I go there for about a month a year, on average, over the last few years anyway. I'm working on an opera in Italian, actually. This is a commission for 2023. I don't really think I'm allowed to announce it yet, but I'm working with a wonderful Italian poet, Malcolm Angelucci, who lives just down the road, and we're working on the libretto together, so that in another few months we'll have the libretto complete, which is marvellous. I've never been in that position. It's fantastic.
In terms of contemporary life now, Richard, I was wondering, reflecting on your work as a composer and particularly as a conductor, what do you miss most about live performance?
You know, some people live to perform. I don't. I'm very lucky that I have this other avenue for creativity, which is my work, and I'm currently at work on a very big project for ANAM, hopefully for next year, and then a chamber opera for us, and then a double bass concerto for the TSO, a Christmas piece for the Adelaide Symphony.
You're a very, very busy man, Richard.
Other little ditties, and then, of course, there's the big opera project as well. So I don't live to perform. I mean, some people, you know, they hear a long note, they'll get up and conduct it. I mean, it doesn't... I don't live to perform. I live for the music. That's what interests me, not performing so much, although performing is a very wonderful way of sharing it and needs great skill and a lot of application and work to do a good job. And to lead an opera performance of high quality is no easy matter. But it wouldn't worry me if I never did it again. On the other hand, I'd love to do it again, but it's not something that would break my heart. You know, I've been doing it virtually all my life. So it doesn't worry me so much, that side of things. I think it's a shame for our society that live performance can't proceed, because it's a very wonderful way of people sharing their lives together and sharing a common experience. And I think that's very sad. So that makes me sad. On the other hand, we've never been busier at the company putting out all of this stuff online, which I have to sort of at least have some involvement in. Plus my own writing, which keeps me busy, and the endless paperwork, because there's many decisions to be made and much forward planning to be done. And I find myself spending more time, oddly enough, in meetings than heretofore, when we were in normal times, if you like.
I was wondering, Richard, is there a message that you would like to share with the broader community of Victorian opera supporters and family?
Look, Victorian opera is a family. I mean, I'm a bit old-fashioned about the way I see arts companies. I see arts companies as having a special place in the community. They speak to people, but in a very real sense, they also speak for them, and also hopefully speak with them. They're about bringing the civilising encounter with unequivocal greatness that we get at a symphony concert or we get when we go to see a great drama, or we get when we go to see a great opera or a great recital. I call these things windows on the marvellous. They civilise us, they enrich us in ways that words can't express. And I see my job, I'm simply a curator. I'm there to make sure that this can happen, to make sure that the people of talent in our community have a platform. I can't give it to everybody, and it is, at the end of the day, competitive. It always has been. But it also has meaning for people to be involved in what we do. That's why we have our youth chorus, our community programs, because the act of singing is something you can share with an 8-year-old and an 80-year-old. There's no age barrier to it. And it can be marvellously affirming of community. So the care of all this is a very serious trust. And that's what the job of an artistic director is to chart the fortunes through all the various competing claims and interests, the waxing and waning of politics, the waxing and waning of funding, of venues, and all this, to make sure that the essential aspects of the art form, its capacity to bring joy and astonishment and pleasure, are not lost.
Richard, as our final question, what's the first thing that you'd like to do after this time passes?
You know, the odd thing is, Scott, I won't do anything that is that much different. Have some people over for a meal. That would be nice.
Yes.
To see our friends again. That, I guess that's what I miss most, is the company of our friends, so the people who are close to us, who are virtually our family. That's what I miss. That's the most important thing. Nothing else is that high on the agenda, for me. Perhaps to be able to go to the beach again in the summer, that would be beautiful, and to swim. But also to make art again for people. That's, I think, for me, very important as well. That's what I've missed.
Richard, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a joy, as always, to chat, and please stay safe.
Thank you, Scott. All the very best. See you soon. Bye.
For more chats with artists in isolation, you can follow Victorian Opera across social media or visit victorianopera.com.au. I'm Scott Winfield. Thanks for watching.